Hello, I'm Alfonso Severos from Second Saturday. Right now, you are watching Health and Wellness with Rose Ann Green.
You never forget the day you got the news.
April 17, 2002.
August 30, 2014.
October 15, 2020.
October 22, 2002.
And you always remember how you got through.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
Together we can survive.
Welcome to another episode of Health and Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Rose Ann Green. Today we'll be focusing on a critical and very personal health topic, breast cancer awareness. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today we'll be shedding light on the importance of early detection, sharing key statistics about breast cancer, especially its impact on Black women, and hearing the powerful story of a survivor and minister of faith. Did you know that in the United States alone, 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in her lifetime? This disease affects 2.3 million women worldwide each year. And in the Caribbean, the incidence of breast cancer is on the rise, with women often diagnosed at more advanced stages. What's particularly concerning is that Black women globally, including here in the United States, have a higher chance of being diagnosed with an aggressive forms of breast cancer and are more likely to die from it. And how she survived this difficult battle is Minister Dale. Thank you so much for joining me today. A Barbadian by native Barbadian, right?
That's right.
I really, really appreciate you being on the show today because it's important that we speak on this topic of breast cancer awareness. You're a survivor.
Yes, that's right. And thank you so much for having me.
It's
It is a
pleasure.
pleasure to be here and to share my journey
Yes.
with your audience.
Yes. Let's go back because I know today, sorry to let you get emotional on a day that we should be celebrating your survival, but just touching back because so many women experiencing this disease,
I know.
breast cancer. Let's talk about your journey, when it started, when you got that diagnosis. Talk us through that.
Okay, well, let me go back a little bit just before my diagnosis.
Yes.
In December of 2022, I had a dream. And in this dream, a lady just appeared to me and she said, "There are no traces of the breast cancer." And she just disappeared. And I just jumped up and I was like, "What is this? Who is this for?" You know, never in my mind I thought that, it would be me because,
Yeah.
there's no breast cancer in my family.
Right.
So I'm like, that was the furthest thing from my mind. So I just, mentioned it to a friend. And she said, "Oh, maybe it's for someone else." I mentioned it to my husband who was away
Yeah.
at the time. And he just said, "Wow."
Yeah.
And that was that. That was in the December. And then in the February, we were just, chatting. And my husband, for no reason, I don't know why, he just decided to give me a breast examination.
Yeah.
I really don't like to do that because it brings a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's something that we really should do.
Yeah.
And there is when the lump was felt. And he was like, "Put your hand there." And it was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, it's a lump." I was like, okay, I have fibrous tissue anyway. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
oh, maybe it's just that.
It's just, yeah.
So I said, you know what, let me just go schedule a mammogram. That I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the journey started.
Yeah.
Then I heard after the same day,
Yeah.
we found the lump and you're going to need further testing. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I know there's a lump because I have lumpy breast anyway.
Right.
So I went for the ultrasound and it was a little bit of nerves in between. But, I went ahead and singing praises to God along the journey,
Yeah.
sat there on the table, watched everything,
Yeah.
how they do everything. And I'm seeing these things, not really know what is going on, but I'm just praying and stuff like that, just trying to be at peace and everything.
Yeah.
But I really was at peace,
Yeah.
I really was at peace.
And that's the important part, because a lot of women, in terms of the anxiety, how do you find peace in that moment?
In the midst of the storm?
In the midst of that storm.
I tell you, God is so real. You know, he said he's a present help in time of trouble.
Yeah.
And to know that he's right there with you, because I prayed, I laid on the floor, I turned my head to the wall. I remember, who was it that turned his head to the wall? I think it was Hezekiah.
Yeah.
I did all those things. And even though it was troubling deep within me, I could not understand this peace. And I would cry, but there was still a peace that surpasses all understanding. And it's beyond human comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that, God was with me in the journey.
Yeah. And that's the important part I want to bring out, because a lot of persons who they're experiencing, there are women who are watching that going through now their diagnosis, either it's breast or other cancers. And how important was your faith in the process? How important was that, your faith, to help you navigate those treacherous waters?
Listen, your faith, I remember the scriptures, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, faith is very vital for this, because you need to rely on a greater power, because in yourself, you really cannot do it. Mm-hmm. You really need that strength from the supernatural one. Mm-hmm. And, God ministered to me so many times. I remember once I heard like somebody behind my ear, and I actually looked back. Whose report do you believe,
Wow.
There were so many, you will have your fearful moments.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, in that time, he was just ever present in giving me the encouragement, the strength. And there are times that I couldn't pray. Huh? There are times I couldn't pray.
And she's being real, because there are moments you can't pray.
I could only whisper the name Jesus.
Yeah.
But he heard,
Yeah.
He heard. And you need, a body of believers around you to rally with you. You really need people who would rally with you and pray you through.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's difficult on your own.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow. Are there any particular scriptures that you hold true to, even to this day, that you use throughout your journey? That's that particular scripture that says it holds your faith. Because even when your faith is breaking, that scripture reminds you of the trust in God.
It's a very familiar scripture, but it's ever real. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths.
Yes.
I just want to share this because I was in the hospital as well, and I remember my girlfriend said to me, God can heal you at any moment.
Yes.
It's not so much the healing, because he can heal you at any moment, but it's the process that he's doing in your life. Is what he is, the journey that must be completed. I'm here in the United States, I tell you, God has a way of pushing you into your destiny and different things. That's a whole nother chapter.
Right.
But lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
Talk to me in terms of a tough moment that you reach in a space. There's a moment, because I know with cancer diagnosis and going through cancer treatment, there are moments where you have those tough days that you think you're not going to make it. And those days you're like, oh God, is it this my final moment, or this is good? Talk to me about how you navigate those moments when you have those moments.
Well, my tough moments was going through chemotherapy. Chemotherapy, it was tough. I didn't want to go through chemotherapy because you heard so many things about chemotherapy. And when I got my first dose of chemotherapy, everything went downhill. I got pneumonia. I had to get blood transfusions. My oxygen level was low.
Wow.
I was anemic. So many things happened in a short space of time.
Yes.
My husband, he was my rock. Things like, he just called on the phone, I'm in the hospital bed lying down, and he just said, I love you. Because hair is now chemotherapy. You're going to lose your hair. Your femininity. That was a tough moment. I didn't want to lose my hair. And, he said, just call to say, I love you. Things like that.
It goes a far way.
But you need you need a good support system.
Yes.
You really need a good
and
support system.
that's the next point I want you to bring across to a lot of people that's watching, that probably their parents or a family member or a friend going through the process, and they need to know how important it is for their support to those persons. So how was it importance in terms of the importance to you that you had a support system surrounding you?
Yes, it is very vital. You know, sometimes when we get certain diagnoses and stuff like this, breast cancer, one of them, or cancer on a whole, we tend not to want to tell people.
Yeah.
We tend to want to keep it private. Honestly, I didn't tell my mom at first because I was very nervous to tell her. It took me a little while to tell her, but when I told my mom, she was a lot stronger than I thought.
Wow.
She really was. And, you know, having her there and praying me through and, you know, her knowing what is happening to me and to be able to encourage me really helped. My little daughter, I remember once I was very stressed. And she said to me, "What's the matter with you?" I said, "I'm feeling stressed." She said, "Why?" And I did like this, you know?
Yes.
And she said, "You remember the dream?
Wow.
Just trust.
Wow.
Just trust."
Yes.
You didn't know what that did for me.
Yes.
That went a long way. And it always stuck in the bottom of my head, you know, just trust. So, yeah, you need to have your support system.
Yeah.
It's vital.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the flip side, the upside of surviving cancer. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a time to honor survivors, remember loved ones, and educate ourselves about early detection. Each year in the U.S., about 240,000 women get breast cancer, and sadly, about 42,000 women die from it. It's far too many. But knowledge is power. That's why it's so important that we raise awareness about breast cancer and encourage regular screenings. Early detection is key. CDC's breast cancer detection program is celebrating its 31st anniversary this year and has helped more than 6 million uninsured women get the breast cancer screening care they needed. Remember, taking steps to stay healthy can reduce your risk of developing breast cancer and increase your chances of surviving if you ever face this battle. For all the brave warriors in the fight against breast cancer, we stand with you. Let's conquer this together.
Listen up, ladies. Did you know as Black women, we are more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer at a young age than white women? Let's talk about some things you should know. In the US, 1 in 10 new cases of breast cancer are found in women under 45. Think about that. 1 in 10. And you know what else? Breast cancer in young women is more likely to be found at a later stage, making it even harder to treat. That's why understanding your risk and knowing the signs and symptoms is so important. Here's what I'd like you to do. Know how your breasts normally look and feel. If you notice any changes, call a trusted doctor. Be sure to talk with them about your family history of cancer and, as a Black woman, what you can do to lower your risk of breast cancer. Want to learn more? Check out CDC's Bring Your Brave site.
Thank you so much for staying with us on Health and Wellness. Today we're talking about a special topic, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this is October. And even if you're seeing it beyond October, we celebrated Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, and it's a very important topic because Black women are so, in terms of prone to having breast cancer, the more aggressive side of breast cancer. But now we want to talk about the flip side. You're surviving cancer, and congratulations, and I bless God with you because you're a survivor.
Yes.
All that challenge, all that, you're surviving. You're a businesswoman. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're doing it all while surviving. So talk to me about in terms of what would you say to some of those women in terms of detection, how important it is to do their mammogram, how important?
Listen, I am an advocate now for mammograms. Honestly, when I reached age 40, I won't tell you my age, I had a mammogram.
Yeah.
And I did not do a mammogram thereafter for a number of years. And had I done that, I believe it would have been spotted early enough. By the time that it was detected, it had already gone into 2 of my lymph nodes.
Wow.
And that could have been avoided by early detection.
Yeah.
I thank God for his grace. I thank God for his healing power. I thank God for remembering me. I thank God for his grace on my life to go through this.
Yes, yes.
But I'm telling you, you must get your screening done. Get your mammograms done. You may be nervous. Some people say it's painful. What is a little pain compared to what, you may have to go
So
through?
true.
Just get your mammogram.
Yeah, because last week I did mine. I did mine in the month here, October, and it was painful because I don't have much, but I was happy I did it because it's important to do your mammogram. It may be a little bit discomfort. You may experience a little bit of discomfort, but a little bit of discomfort will save your life.
Yes.
For those women, they're going through, they're not yet surviving, but they're coping.
Yes.
What would be your advice to them in terms of going through the process of, chemotherapy, all that process? Yeah.
What I will say to you is don't give up the fight and trust God in this journey. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. He will strengthen you. He will strengthen you. He is a carrier. He is a sustainer.
Yeah.
He carried me in this journey like I never thought that I could. Many people I remembered once my girlfriend said to me, "You were sitting down getting chemotherapy like you're going shopping." Because I'm talking to her on the phone like normal. She said, "Are you getting an infusion?" I'm like, yeah. But it's because the grace of God and how he carried me in this journey.
For
and
sure.
I sense the prayers of, the saints over my life. Prayer is very important. Trusting God and having that body of that network of people around you to give you the support that you need.
Indeed. Wow. I appreciate you. I know it's not easy to relive some of the moments because when you think in your head and relive some of the moments, you still feel that emotional space. It reliving those moments. It's not hard. It's not easy. So I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story and encouraging our women, especially our Black women. Please get tested. Go do your self-breast test, okay? It's very, very important. It's very important. I really appreciate you, Minister
Thank you.
Dale.
And I appreciate
for sparing time.
being here. It's my pleasure to really share this journey with you.
Yeah,
honestly.
I appreciate it. On this side, before we close out today, I want to share this video with you just to share some really good tips of how you can prevent or help to detect breast cancer in yourself or in a family member. Stay with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Tasha and I'm a breast surgeon. Being able to do a breast examination is really important. This is how you can find breast lumps and other things that should get checked out. Doing a breast examination is actually very easy. The problem is, many of you may be doing it incorrectly, potentially causing you to miss things. Knowledge is power when it comes to breast health. And so in this video, I am going to show you how to do a breast examination the correct way. So first of all, what are you looking for? You should look at the shape of the breast and then look at the skin. So, are there any irregularities in the shape and the contour of the breast? If a lump is present, sometimes you can actually see a fullness on the breast itself. Look for any dimpling of the skin. People get a little bit confused when they hear this term. And what it actually means is that the skin is drawn inwards, exactly like a dimple of the cheeks. Remember to also look at the nipples as well. Beware if the nipple is pulled inwards, also known as inversion, and also look for spontaneous nipple discharge. And finally, look for any skin rashes or any changes in the skin texture. A question I get asked all the time is, what does a lump feel like? And actually, a lump feels like a lump. So you can imagine a small bean or a marble within the breast. That is what a lump will feel like. Sometimes it may feel well defined, and other times it may feel less defined with a vague outline. People who come to see me with a lump will be able to point very confidently to that particular area of the breast. Now that we understand the signs and symptoms to look out for, let's move on to the practical part, how to perform a breast self-examination. So, firstly, find a comfortable location with a mirror. This could be in your bathroom or your bedroom. Let's start with the looking or inspection part. So in front of the mirror, while standing with your arms down on your side, look at your breast for all the changes I mentioned earlier. Look at the outline of the breast, the nipple, and then the skin. Continue to look at your breasts whilst raising your hands above your head and then whilst putting them on your hips and pressing against them. The reason why you are doing this is because abnormalities in the breast can be made more visible by different positions of the arms, as well as the chest. After that, you now move on to the feeling or the palpation part of the examination. Now, preferably you do this whilst lying down, but if you need to do this while standing up, that's okay too. The hand you use will examine the opposite breast and vice versa. So left hand examines the right breast, right hand examines the left breast. Please remember to use the flat of your fingers to do the examination. Now, many people make the mistake by either pinching the breast or prodding the breast. And if you do it this way, you are not doing a correct examination, and in fact you may actually miss some lumps. It doesn't matter where you start on the breast as long as you remember to cover the whole of the breast, including the nipple. So you can either move from one quadrant to the next, or you can move sideways. It doesn't really matter. You should start with a light pressure and go around, and then follow it again with a slightly firmer pressure so that you are feeling the depth of the breast. You don't actually have to press down too hard, and if you are hurting yourself, you are definitely doing it too hard. Don't forget your nipple as well. And lastly, you need to remember to examine your armpits. And many people do this the wrong way, and this is the reason why. The important thing when you are examining your armpit or axilla is that you need to open up your armpit by relaxing your arm like this. By doing this, it actually allows you to go deep into your armpit for a proper examination. If you examine your armpit whilst you're raising your arm like this, the armpit is actually closed, which is counterintuitive. But if you do it this way, you actually won't be able to get deep into the armpit. Then obviously you do it on the other side. So how often should you examine your breast? Once a month is sufficient. And you should try to do it at the same time during the month. And if you're premenopausal, I would suggest you do it after your period has ended, when your breasts are back to its normal state. Regular breast self-examinations are a crucial part of maintaining breast health. Remember, it's not just about knowing how to do it, but it's also being aware of the signs and symptoms that might indicate a problem. And if you ever notice any changes or have any concerns, then do reach out to see a medical professional. I'll see you in the next one.
I'm hoping that video helped you in some way to do your self-breast test or help a mother, a sister, or a friend. Thank you so much. And thank you so much again, Minister Dale, for sharing your powerful journey with us today. Your testimony is truly an inspiration. As we honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's important for all of us to remember that early detection can save lives, and can provide the strength needed to ensure that you endure. For those of you watching, if you haven't had your breast cancer screening this year, now is the time to take action. Let's work together to raise awareness and support the fight against breast cancer in every way we can. Remember, faith can move mountains. And as Minister Dale has shown us today, with faith, determination, and support, you can overcome anything. Join us next time for more health and wellness discussions. And remember to prioritize your health, body, mind, and spirit. Until next time, stay well.
A breast lump is the most common presenting symptom of breast cancer. But for about 1 in 6 women with breast cancer, the broad spectrum of symptoms doesn't include a lump. In this video, I'll tell you about the early signs of breast cancer and what to do next. Breast cancer occurs when breast cells mutate and grow out of control. If breast cancer spreads, it typically goes to nearby lymph nodes under the arm first, or around the collarbone. If it spreads beyond these small glands to other parts of your body, it's called metastatic breast cancer. Metastatic cancer is incurable, so early diagnosis is very important. Most breast changes are due to hormonal changes and are nothing to worry about. Of the following 5 breast cancer symptoms, see your doctor, even if they seem mild. 1. A lump in the breast or armpit. 2. Discharge from the nipple. 3. Dimpling on the breast. 4. Nipple changes, including the nipple turning inward, pulling to one side, or changing direction. Or 5. Irritation of the skin. Your risk for breast cancer increases with age. About 77% of women are over the age of 50 when they are diagnosed with breast cancer. Less than 1% are diagnosed in their 20s. If you have a close relative, a mother, sister, or daughter, who has had breast cancer, your own risk of developing the disease doubles. If 2 of these relatives have the disease, your risk increases 5 times. In many cases where breast cancer seems to run in families, a mutation in specific genes called BRCA1 and BRCA2 may contribute to the cancer. If you started menstruating before age 12 or went through menopause after age 50, your risk for breast cancer is also slightly increased. That's because your breast tissue is exposed to estrogen for longer periods of time. And finally, there is a clear link between alcohol and breast cancer. Those who have 2 to 5 alcoholic drinks daily have 1.5 times the risk for developing breast cancer as women who do not drink. If you think you might have breast cancer, what should you do? The most important screening test to detect breast cancer early is the mammogram. A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast. It can detect breast cancer long before a tumor might be felt. It is recommended that women aged 40 and older receive annual mammograms. Studies show that women who participate in mammography screening reduce their risk of dying from breast cancer by 41% and experience a 25% reduction in the rate of metastatic breast cancers. Schedule an appointment with your doctor today to discuss your screening options.
You never forget the day you got the news.
April 17, 2002.
August 30, 2014.
October 15, 2020.
October 22, 2002.
And you always remember how you got through.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
I survived.
Together we can survive.